Hi, everybody. This is Ken Wilson. Once upon a time, I broadcast blues hockey. I always listen to Let's Go Blues Radio. It's everything you'll want as a blues fan. Oh, baby.
Stop doing those diet or workout fads to lose weight. Use the tried and true approach from Rockin' That Ideal Life that helps you find balance while enjoying food in moderation and nourishing your body. Try the Lean 30 program at rockinthatIdeallife.com and let today be your last first day of your weight loss journey.
When buying or selling your home, you need to feel protected. Realtor Mike Burgoyne not only looks out for your interests, but as a St. Louis area police officer will make sure you feel safe and well-informed with every decision. Email Mike at strikewithmike.com and start the process today. That's Mike at strikewithmike.com.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, somehow, some way, they are celebrating 13 years as the original and longest-running St. Louis Blues podcast. Are you sure? No one even thought they'd make 13 episodes. I mean, literally all they talk about is drinking beer and hockey. It's 13 seasons already? I guess somehow it works. Ladies and gentlemen, Ponder, Price, and Day. This is Let's Go Blues Radio, Season 13, and your show starts now.
Welcome to episode number 2 of season 13. This is episode number 433 all-time of the often imitated, never duplicated. I didn't put anything here, so I don't have anything clever to say. We're the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Special thanks to our sponsors, RockinThatIdealLife.com, StrikeWithMike.com, and CenterIceBrewery.com for, once again, proudly sponsoring the show. Please, pretty please, with sugar on top. Please check them out. Also, don't forget to check out our t-shirt shop at letsgoblues.com for the very best St. Louis Blues themed t-shirts at an unbelievably fair price. It is Wednesday, October 18th, and we're streaming live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and the Twitters. To interact with the show on social media, our handle is on all the socials is at LGB Radio. I'm Kurt Price, my co-host for The Big Shoe. Tonight are fresh off their litigation, their notoriety, their subsequent deportation to Canada, and that country's refusal to accept them. They are Bill Day and Jeff Ponder. I recycled that one because I wanted to use it again.
I liked it. I did get a chuckle out of that one.
Yeah, and you weren't here last week to be here in person for it. So the agenda for tonight includes discussion of boots. The Blues earned 3 of 4 points in the first 2 games of the season, each going to a shootout. We'll talk about that. Jeff Ponder goes off on advanced goaltender stats. Buchnevich gets hurt. The Blues' first-round draft pick has been released from his Swedish team. We'll talk about that a little bit. And all that and more on this edition of Let's Go Blues Radio. Jeff, welcome back this week. How was your anniversary last week?
It was fine. Number 9, which, I kept making jokes because apparently there is, something for every anniversary, the silver anniversary, the gold anniversary. So I kept making jokes. I'm like, oh, is this the paper anniversary? Is this the chair anniversary?
There's a chair?
There does seem... No, there's not. I'm just making it up. Every time
that's
I would
very
say...
specific.
Every time we would talk about our 9th anniversary, I'd be like, oh, yeah, this is the water anniversary, and I would change it every time. So, yeah, it was nothing special. We went and had dinner. Tucker's, which is a wonderful steakhouse, a couple different locations here in St. Louis. I don't think they're on the Illinois side. I want to say West County, South County, and downtown. I don't know. But either way, great restaurant and fairly priced. And then we came home and watched the movie Beast, which was garbage.
I tried to watch it, and I think I fell asleep. But not because of how bad it was. It was like I was very tired, and that was the reason.
Well, you didn't miss much. We watched it literally because we both love Idris Elba. And I thought it, I was like, well, as far as action kind of horror movies go, a giant lion trying to eat people, that sounds like it's at least entertaining.
Cujo, but with lions.
Yeah, and it just wasn't. The story was bad as you would imagine, and the action wasn't that cool. So yeah, it was just a lot of waiting around is basically what we saw. It was like, oh, the lion's coming. Oh my God. Oh wait, no, he's not. Oh, here comes the lion. Oh wait, that's not a lion. And it's just, stop it. Just fucking make the lion kill everyone and then end the movie. That's all we want.
What's the 10th anniversary? Is it a blindfold and whip or no? That's something different.
Well, if that's the case, that's been our anniversary every year.
Oh, you're ahead of the game.
That's right. No, we did something fun for when we got married. For any of you single people, when you get married, this is a fun idea. Instead of having a guest book at the wedding, we actually had people sign wine bottles. We had special labels made. There was a 1 year, a 5 year, a 10 year, and a 25 year bottle. And so it's kind of fun. So we're looking forward to next year because we did it on the 1 and the 5. In 10, we get to open that wine bottle and we get to see who signed it. You know, like it's not always the same people. It's always different. And we haven't looked since.
So it's not like you can't see it's like wrapped in something or it's in a box.
Yeah. We've got it in a box.
Okay.
So that way, like we just literally go in and we pull it out and we not only do we drink the wine, but we sit there while we're drinking the wine and look at who signed it. It's actually a really cool idea. We got it, I think, from Pinterest.
If you get divorced, then what happens to the wine bottle?
I guess we just need to drink them before we sign the papers.
Yeah, the wine bottle idea is pretty presumptuous.
It is.
How far does it go? How many years out?
We're at 25 years is the last one.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got 2 left, 10 years and 25 years.
Okay. Nice.
Yep.
Well, if you have, it gives you motivation to stay together.
Yes, that's the only reason we're still together. We got to make it to 25, Jess. Come on. We can do this.
Yep.
And then you get there and realize somebody left it out in the hot garage. So it's vinegar.
Yeah, where's the store right now?
God.
Where's the store now? Is it like in a cool, dry place?
Yeah, it's in the unfinished part of the basement, actually in a cooler that I have. Okay. So yeah, it's good.
Is each wine bottle the same kind of wine, or is it different?
Yes, and it's unfortunate because I'm not a fan of that wine. So I'm like, hopefully with age it gets
well, every
better.
7 years your taste buds are supposed to change, so maybe
That's
by
true.
then you will be. Is that true?
Very true.
Every 7 years your taste buds change?
It's an average, yes. But yeah, that is a true statement. Apparently your body just adapts and changes, and as it does that to all of its surroundings, it also changes your taste buds.
Mr. Wizard over here. I was not expecting that kind of an answer. Wow.
I looked this up, actually, because I was also intrigued.
Oh, nice. All right, Bill Nye.
Vanessa Graff. Let's show our friend Vanessa here. She says, "Do you guys talk about wine to start the show?" Yes, apparently we do.
Was that in there before we started talking about wine, or was it just now?
No, I think she literally popped in and heard us talking about wine and said, "What the hell, isn't this a blues show?"
Yeah. Well, is she new to the show? Because we don't talk hockey for a good 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
No, at least.
Right. And starting next week, we're not going to do beers at the show. We're going to do wines at the show.
That's right. Yeah, and we got to drink with our pinkies up.
Pinkies up. Do you drink wine, pinky? I guess you do. With the wine.
I mean, I don't. I hold it like.
Do you aerate your wine when you in your mouth when you drink it?
No.
Oh,
I just drink it.
I do. You got to aerate your wine.
I'm not that fancy.
You got to aerate your wine.
You got to open it and let it breathe before you pour it.
Well, sure, but you got to aerate it. It gets the flavor going. You get the air bubbles.
If you leave it open for too long, it turns back into grapes.
You know those little whistles, those little bird whistles you fill with water, and when you blow into them, they sound like a bird chirping. Remember as a kid? Yeah.
Oh,
that's kind of the effect you get when you aerate the wine in your mouth. It's like the sound without the whistle, right? Little gurgling sound. It's very attractive.
You'll have to demonstrate next week.
Yeah, right. Are we having wine next week? Is that the thing?
I mean, why not? We could all. What are we doing? Let's get together next week. Let's all have a bottle of wine and knock it out.
Yeah, we could have a fireside show. We'll steal the Calgary Flames podcast idea, the fireside chat show. We'll have wine with a bearskin rug.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I think it's
we
great.
Could all come over and do it from the hot tub.
Sexy like on it. Yeah. Well, it's not in commission right now.
Too much action.
It. So maybe, yes, exactly. Maybe by next week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the middle of being cleaned for the winter. I clean it twice a year.
Gotcha.
So it is right in the middle of that. Well, if we're kind of ready to get into some stuff, I have an announcement I wanted to make real quick. Just wanted to shout out a listener of the show. My sister works with her. Her name is, I'm going to say Andrea. If I'm saying it incorrectly, I apologize. Andrea Benmavar. So I just wanted to give you a call out. My sister says that you are an awesome coworker. Apparently, which my sister and I, okay, so quick story. My sister is 4 years older than me. She's always looked younger. I've always looked older. So when we used to...
You're older than she is?
No, she is older than me.
I misunderstood. I was like...
But she looks younger, and I look older. So we actually looked, when I was like 19, 20, we looked about the same age. And we used to hang out. We had a lot of the same friends. We worked together. And people always thought, they just assumed we were dating. And that is so awkward when you have a sister. To be like, oh, how long have you guys been together? No, that's not okay. And so apparently it relates back to this. So I guess Andrea asked my sister, she goes, hey, does your husband have a blues podcast? And she's like, no, but my brother does. And she's like, oh, well, that's embarrassing.
Which one does your husband have then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you asked about her pronunciation. I think if you pronounce, if she pronounces it Andrea and if you pronounce it Andrea, I think you're doing her a favor. I think Andrea sounds
classier.
Well, yeah. I mean, no, I'm not that fancy. It's Andrea. Right. If it's Andrea.
I'm not that fancy. That'd be like if I was like, I'm Joffrey.
Right. Yes, Joffrey.
Like Joffrey Loophole.
Yeah, or like Joffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Well, I believe he was still Jeffrey.
Was he Jeffrey? Joffrey?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Let's look that up. You might be right. The official beers, I guess, we're not doing wine. Official beers of episode number 433. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is CPrice12, Jeff's is JPonder94, and Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. We haven't established an order this season, have we? So, season 13, episode 2.
Right, considering first, we weren't all here first week.
Right. Why don't you go first, Bill?
Sure.
All right.
So I am just going with the tried and true, the Sam Adams Oktoberfest in a can. Ooh, very nice.
That's my backup. That's my backup beer.
Ponder one up to you with the bottle.
Yeah. No, I this time of year I fill the top level of my beer fridge with cans of Oktoberfest, and just easy to grab and drink at any point during this season.
Amy and I were at Global Brew for the Blues game on Saturday, and she asked if they had any Oktoberfest beer, and the bartender I was going to say she was a woman. I don't know why that's not important to the story. I pulled at my grandma there.
She grew up in New York. She's 27. Yeah. Like, just throw more information.
Yeah, useless information. We asked if they had an Oktoberfest beer, so we didn't see any on the board, and didn't feel like looking through all the taps. And she goes, "No, that was September." And I'm like, "Wait a minute." It's October, and you probably should have Oktoberfest beer during October. You're a Global Brew. You have like 70 beers on tap. Let's
right.
You can't slip one Oktoberfest in there.
Right. You can carry it over. Yes, we get it. Oktoberfest, the festival, happens in September, but the beer is still good in October.
Right.
Well, and the problem here, at least in the Midwest and the South, I would imagine too, is like the weather is still pretty damn warm in September. So for me, like Oktoberfest tastes better when it's a little nicer out. Yeah. So right now is perfect Oktoberfest.
To me, you need,
it was not that case a month ago.
You need both Oktoberfest and pumpkin beer in the stores at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree.
And Sam Adams has that marketing down pat. Unfortunately, it started July 31st this year.
Yeah. Ridiculous. We're going to have Oktoberfest in April next year. Fucking nuts.
Well, we're already having Christmas. So.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, we are. All right, so mine, I am also going with Sam Adams tonight, but I'm going with, I'd never had this before. I got the sampler pack, Sam Adams Flannel Fest. So you can see that nice, I know, Kurt, you're a big artwork guy.
I like that.
It's very simple, but it's very cool. Like it's like a flannel
less
shirt.
is more, man. Less is more.
Yep.
Yeah. What we used to call, very good. Back in the day, we used to call that flannel.
Flannel. Yeah, plaid flannel.
Plaid flannel.
No, it's
what is
it? I feel like I should be wearing a flannel shirt as I drink
this.
You
said it was ale? What was it?
It's a Munich Dunkel.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what it's similar to, but I mean it's dark
it's German.
And it is tasty.
Is it like a red? No. Is Dunk like a red?
I don't think so. It's not a red.
Okay, because I want to say it's very German, right? I don't think I'm a huge fan of Dunkel beers.
It almost tastes like a porter.
Really? I like porters.
It's very good. Yeah.
Okay. My beer this evening is the I have found one of the this is probably 2 or 3 years old. The last one. O'Fallon oatmeal cookies, oatmeal stout. Original O'Fallon Dad's
cookies.
Oatmeal stout. Yeah, oatmeal cookie stout. It's pretty good beer. I like it. And I've had it in my fridge. Was the last one. I just never really tapped into it until this evening. There you go. Let's get into it, I guess, huh? Boys.
Let's do it.
Buchnevich out for an undisclosed amount of time. Will be reevaluated on Sunday. Sustained an upper body injury on Saturday against the Kraken. Did not return. Left late in the first period. Burgoyne didn't know the severity, but did rule out a concussion. I think they're optimistic about him only missing a short amount of time. People were pissed off online about this play, calling it dirty, saying that, I forgot the guy who cross-checked him down behind the boards against behind the goal.
So McCann? No, it's Alexiak.
Yeah. Your thoughts? Was it? You think it was dirty? You think it was?
No,
it's a hockey play, right?
No, it was hockey. Yeah. It was a hockey play.
He just went in. He kind of went on the boards awkwardly, a little bit. I thought, but
Bill, do you agree? Disagree?
No. It was I don't know. I didn't have a big reaction to it when I saw it, and just the fact that Booch is out, I think that's leading a lot of people to the conclusion it was dirty, but I don't know.
He's one of the guys that
have a strong opinion.
Okay, he's one of the guys that we talked about before the season as far as needing to stay healthy. If this team is going to do anything, he's one of those key guys, and it's a little discouraging that he's hurt already after he got hurt in the second game. So hopefully he's out a week or two, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, when you see reevaluated, that when I see that word, I'm always like, oh fuck. But the fact that he's getting reevaluated within the same week he was hurt, 8 days, I guess. It did make me say, okay, if they're reevaluating him that quickly, we're talking, I think, mid next week. I think he could be back. I think definitely by next weekend.
Well, they said
just because that is such a short time frame to have to reevaluate.
Yeah, and when he went down in the game, Jamie Rivers mentioned that he was seen to be holding his ribs. Was kind of hunched over a little bit. Could have been his ribs. Could have been a wrist. Could have been shoulder. Could have been a lot of stuff. Hunched over just to get to the bench. But he came back on the ice. He broke his stick behind the goal. Came back and went and got a stick on the bench. And then came back on the ice for a few seconds until shot on goal, and then I think it was stoppage and play, and then he went right back to the bench again, kind of holding something. So hopefully he's not hurt too bad and won't miss a lot of time.
Yeah, and
we'll see.
The Blues' stupid schedule. 2 games, 5 days off is that's going to help out here a little bit, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, it can only help, right?
Maybe that's what the Blues had in mind when they were, kind of helping the NHL create their schedule. Like, hey, we know Buchnevich is either going to get suspended wouldn't help. Matter. We know he's going to get hurt, either him or Blais or
Burgoyne.
Scandella. Buchnevich. Like, let's go ahead and just build in like a couple extra days so these guys can heal.
If this was MLB and it was a pitcher getting suspended, because they suspend pitchers based on days, not starts. Yep. So they suspending, it hurt for 5 days. Oh, he misses one start.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to, Justin Scott in the chat, I want to get to your comment because there's a lot to talk about with that. So just hang tight. We will talk about
I saw
Mike Van Ryn.
I saw that too.
And defense.
Yeah, agreed. So we will get into that as well as the Blues' first game against the Stars, the shootout loss in the opener. But we are due for a break. You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio.
New commercials.
We'll return after these messages.
We've all tried a diet or workout fad at one time or another, but it always ends the same, right? We either lose the weight and then get back to our routine, but then put the weight right back on, or it just simply never takes hold. It's time to move into a habit-based program that focuses on organization and simplicity. Rock and That Ideal Life's Lean 30 lays it all out for you with the correct food to eat, how to meal prep, and even sprinkles in plenty of healthy recipes. With Lean 30, you'll get the full ID Life arsenal, including energy for that needed kick, a tasty Nourish shake for your needed fiber intake, Slim Plus to help control your cravings and provide a metabolic boost, Lean capsules help bust those sugar cravings, and IED Nutrition gives you the added punch you need that takes the guesswork out of what supplements to take. Join the many who are seeing success and make this your last first day on a new program. Visit rockandthatideallife.com to get started, and remember to email Dustin at rockandthatideallife@gmail.com for an extra 10% off exclusively for Let's Go Blues Radio listeners. Start your transformation to the confident, vibrant person you've always wanted to be with rockandthatideallife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a beer lover's dream for hockey fans. Based in St. Louis, Missouri, owner Steve Albers has been brewing hockey-themed favorites for thirsty sports fans since 2017. From the Beauty IPA to the Old Arena Lager, a cold, frosty, hockey-themed beer is just what the doctor ordered for hockey fans in St. Louis. Make sure to check your local beer store for Center Ice Brewery beer today. LGB. Let's go beer.
St. Louis hockey fans know how it takes a reliable captain and a team of hard workers to achieve major goals. As a police officer and a hockey player, realtor Mike Burgoyne would wear the C in any situation. As a leader in the home buying or selling process, Mike has surrounded himself with a team of trustworthy inspectors, lenders, and escrow officers that work together more cohesively than Hall & Oates. And as a member of many teams in his life, Mike knows the service our first responders, veterans, nurses, teachers, and yes, even you Let's Go Blues Radio listeners provide the community, so he offers special rates to those individuals. Find the value in Mike's leadership and teamwork today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or calling 314-753-4060. He'll work closely with you and only show you the homes that match your goals. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com or call him at 314-753-4060 and succeed with your new teammate today.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
So fresh and so clean. We got some new commercials up, as you just heard, and we'll be rolling through new commercials for our awesome sponsors throughout the year. But I just want to say real quick how amazing it is. Dustin Paul especially. He's been here 2 years. Continues to support the show. If you can, people, please support rockandthatidlife.com. I am a huge supporter of them, not just because of the show. I drink the energy stuff every day, every morning. Gives me the kick I need. And then, of course, we got the Lean 30 we were just promoting there as well. But just want to thank Dustin again for his friendship and his partnership. And then, of course, Mike Burgoyne as well. This is his second year aboard with the show. Mike's been an awesome supporter as well. Huge hockey fan, just like Dustin. I have not been able to use him yet. I don't plan on buying or selling my house anytime soon, but I'm hoping some of you will. Mike, again, is just a super knowledgeable dude about hockey. So the beauty of using him is not only are you going to get somebody who's going to have your back and help you with, doing all the stuff that goes into buying or selling your home, he's also going to sit there and talk about the last Blues game with you. So just a cool dude to have in your corner. Again, Mike at strikewithmike.com. Just want to thank them. Then, of course, Center Ice, they've been here 4 years, 3 years.
Been a while.
It's been a while.
They were around back in the Manscaped days.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, so I want to thank them as well. And we're looking forward to hopefully getting a tasting room here again in St. Louis soon. And, congratulations again. I think we said it 2 weeks ago to Steve Albers, just welcomed a new member of his family, a little girl. Hopefully we'll continue that sponsorship with Center Ice Brewery as well, because they are fantastic. And Steve's just one of the best dudes out there.
So the Blues lost to the Dallas Stars in a shootout in the season opener, 2-1. First period was scoreless. Second period, Jamie Benn scored just 18 seconds into the period. And then Tyler Tucker scored his first of the season at 2:37.
Sorry, I just want to say, isn't it weird? No, I'm not saying the gameplay itself was similar very much, but the game stories in both these games, the same fucking thing. Disallowed goal. Yep. Other team scores first in the second. Blues answer back in the second. Goes to overtime in a shootout. I mean, very similar game stories between these two teams, or two games.
Yeah, agreed.
And the goaltender was fucking phenomenal. That's another thing.
It was. Tyler Tucker looked good in this game, noticeably good. You know, sometimes a player will play and you just don't notice him. Tyler Tucker was noticeably good, I thought, in this game, and scored a goal. Little sting eye shot through traffic, but it goes in.
They, when I think the conversation probably was, well, if we play Perunovic, he's more of an offensive guy. Tyler Tucker is going to be the guy who's going to play better defense for us overall and be a little more physical. I didn't think he was that physical in this game. I don't think he defensively was. I'm not saying he was bad. I'm just saying he wasn't noticeable. I think we kind of noticed him a lot on defense last year. Didn't notice him a lot in this game. But then what does he do? He scores the first and only goal of the game for the St. Louis Blues, and he's up there in offense. You know, he's the guy that scored the goal, and it's like that's basically the one guy. Like, if you picked him to score the opening goal for the Blues that game, good call on you.
Right. Hope you bought a Powerball ticket in California as well. Yeah. No, in Tucker playing on his offside too. He was the second left-handed D on the second pair. So he gets, as a rookie, second year guy, I guess, he's no longer a rookie, put on the right side, and he played really well. And he led the Blues in scoring for the first 4 periods of the year.
5 technically.
True.
Yeah.
Joshua McDonald says the whole team seems to be doing a great job of going up and back as a 5-man unit. Also, I like how they're holding the blue line and keeping them to the outside. Well said. It was noticeable. The zone entries for the Stars and Kraken weren't as easy as they seemed to be last year. Blues backing off the blue line last year, and keeping the shots to the outside. The Blues were being outshot in these games, but they're not giving them tons of chances in close, right? No backdoor chances. There were some high danger chances, right? But teams are going to get those. That you're not going to.
According to Money Puck, there was no high danger chances in this game,
which we will talk about in a second, right?
But I will say that, and we'll talk, I think, a little bit more as we get into the Kraken game as well. But I think in the first period, the Blues were a little slow. I don't even want to say sloppy. I think they were just kind of slow and just it just didn't feel like they really had a connection between each other. I thought as this game went on, even as the Stars kind of pushed more in the third, I think the Blues got a little better and started each other a little better. The defense vastly improved. And it didn't, let's face it, from last season, it's not going to take a fucking lot to get this team to improve defensively. But as you said, Joshua, about the 5-man unit, it was noticeable. Like, they were all coming and going together. It wasn't, the play's going back the other way. And I hate to pick on him, but Jordan Kyrie's going off for a line change. No, he was hustling back, and they were all skating together. And I think that is something we harped on a lot last year. Not just the defensemen are the issue, the forwards back checking is an issue. And I feel like in this game, and I don't know if it's a Mike Weber or a Michael Babcock situation, but in this game particularly, and then again a little bit with the Kraken game as well, the forwards were very engaged defensively. And I think that is something that lacked a ton last year with this team.
In the Dallas game, the expected goals in all situations, at the end of the first period, the Blues were actually up on Dallas, 0.841 to 0.345. Expected goals for, meaning, on average, based on the chances allowed received by each team, those are the goals that were expected to be scored. So the Blues had a half a goal edge there on Dallas after the first period. At the end of the second period, the Blues still had an edge. It was a 1.623 to 1.271. And Dallas didn't take over in the expected goals scored category until about 13 minutes to go in the game, something like that. And then Dallas kind of turned it on in the third period and had a lot of chances, other good chances. And Binnington kind of held the fort there for the Blues to get them into overtime. So
Dallas quickly became the Dallas we saw last year in that third period. Yeah. And they pressed. And kudos to Jordan Binnington, especially for the way he was able to still keep the puck out of the net. But he was getting a lot of help. There was a play, I remember, in the first period where he made the save and it kind of squeaked out right into his crease. I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was actually Scandella that's just swiped it right away to the corner. He was right in the right position, knew where to be. And an easy play like that where the puck is just sitting in the crease, I feel like even last year, defensemen were all over the place. They were all over the map. You never knew where they'd be. They weren't ever in the right position. He was right where he needed to be, made the right play. Blues were able to get the puck out. That's the kind of thing we saw in these first two games that we really did not see a lot last year.
Hey, Bill.
I want to say that was Sod, but yes, Kurt.
You might have been right. Yeah, you might be
Remember
right.
who we picked for first goal of the game for the Blues last week?
Yes, I said Justin Falk.
You said Falk, and I said Sundqvist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who had the highest expected goals for the game against Dallas for the Blues?
Tyler Tucker.
Sundqvist,
yeah.
0.44.
Really?
Tucker had 0.1.
And he got it.
Wow.
Yeah, Falk was third, 0.28. Yeah. So we didn't do too bad there in our according to chances in the game and advanced stats and analytics and all that good stuff. We picked two of the top three guys.
I thought for sure like mine was going to pay off. Nothing.
Yes.
I had any money on it because Falk was
all over the place
doing that great job. Pinching down to the down even below the hash marks at times, but getting shots at the net. Thought for sure. That there was one time. I mean, he missed probably 3 or 4 inches, but I thought for sure that was it. Going blocker side.
Ottinger had a great game.
Both goalies were fucking amazing.
It was a goaltender's duel, and it was a fantastic game to watch. It was fun.
Brandon Saad, 5 minutes into the game, had that break in on him, and I thought right there, I'm like, there's the first goal.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt in my mind there's no way he's not putting that in. And Ottinger came up huge.
Sundqvist had that sweeping like a shot that went through Ottinger's legs and out the other side and went wide. So I thought for a second there, I called it. No, just missed.
Mm-hmm. It was a great game.
Fun.
I mean, for a season opener, I thought it was a really fun and exciting game.
Season opener on the road against a cup contender, predicted to be a cup contender in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
A Blues team that almost everyone's predicting to probably miss the playoffs. Some people are predicting them to finish near the bottom. And I think I said after the game, I said, if the Blues bring this kind of a game every night, this is going to be a fun season.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they played a good game. I mean, they Dallas took it to them in the third. You tip your cap to Dallas because they're a really good team. But, I mean, they got a point in the shootout, and they could have easily gotten 2. So Binnington made
it. And let's put it this way, too. And I hate to – because I know a lot of people were – okay, we can talk about the offense. Let's talk about that after we get into the Seattle game, too. But, yes, the offense wasn't scoring. But a lot of people were saying, not a lot, a fair amount of people I saw online were talking about how, this is the team we're going to watch. There's no offense. The goalie's going to dry up. The defense still isn't that good. And I'm just like, first of all, it's one game. Calm down. Second of all, Jordan Binnington just played an excellent hockey game. And the fact that they were able to get a point, like you said, on the road against a cup contender, a loud building as well. They were going nuts there in Dallas. Binnington played out of his mind, made some great saves. And then again, I think the defense did a lot better job of clearing out rebounds, squaring up against guys for when Binnington could just drop on the puck instead of letting it sit there for too long. And I just thought overall this team, and again, it's one game, but I'm much more confident. You mentioned the backdoor tap-ins, Kurt. That was rampant.
That was a daily. That was
season.
A game. Every game, it was happening multiple times.
There was Halloween last year. I always point to the Kings. They played the Kings that night. I want to say they had 4 backdoor tap-ins opportunities, and 2 of them went in. And people were like, Binnington, and I'm just like, he just made 2 backdoor tap-in saves, and he gives up 2 other ones on goals, and you're going to blame him? Like, that makes no sense to me. This defense is ridiculous.
As long as there have been, social media or discussion forums, it's really easy to see how the masses can get goaltending wrong.
Oh yeah.
It's, back in the day before internet, it's like you'd have to go to a bar, right? And then be a few guys at the bar that maybe they'd, be, oh, shut up, just going off on people. But you can actually see
Sports Open Line.
Sports Open Line, yeah, good one.
Yeah.
That was, man, I love a Sports Open Line. That was the sports discussion forums before the internet. That was fun.
Long-time caller, first-time listener.
Yep. Justin Scott, love your comment here. Building off what you said earlier, Van Ryn most definitely should have been gone sooner. This defensive coverage seems to be working right now. Keeping your opponents to the outside is very important. You're right, Justin, but keep in mind, it is only 2 games.
It is 2 games.
We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but I will say, in the small sample size we have seen, this is already better than the small sample size we saw at the start of last season. Even they went 3-0 to start the year last year. Even then, I remember us saying, "Woo, this defense has got to buck up some." And I think they're playing pretty good right now.
We noticed in the preseason that they were getting outshot in every game, sometimes handily, and wondering how that was going to transfer over into this season. And so far, they've been out. They were outshot in this game, in the first game, 34-24. So hopefully that kind of thing doesn't continue. But again, if you're keeping them with shots to the outside, and you're limiting the dangerous stuff in close, and you're blocking a lot of shots. So far in these first 2 games, things I've noticed, which I was going to talk about later, block shots, sticks in lanes, passes aren't getting through the defense, like cross ice through the defense. They're shutting stuff down, and it's been talked about a lot, but they are keeping them to the outside. And as Justin Scott in the chat mentioned, it is important. It's very important. As long as you don't allow, screens and tips, deflections to go in with these shots coming from the outside.
Yeah, and you talked about what I was going to mention in terms of block shots, and I think that goes back to Joshua's cohesive unit thing, right? When a team is playing well in the defensive zone, it is an entire team effort and it's cohesive. You've got Neighbors, Sundqvist, Saad, all blocking shots in that Dallas game. And, taking away that shot from the point, it was huge. I mean, how many times last year did stuff just get through? Right. And then the rebounds or the high danger chances, somebody standing unattended at the side of the net because Parayko and Scandella or Parayko and Letty are both in the corner. Right? That was all too common last year. Right. But this year, everybody seems to have a better understanding of what their role is once the puck is in the zone, and they're executing right now. And it's great to see.
The worst in defensive zone play they made was the goal. The Jamie Benn goal. It was the puck coming around the corner. Tucker is in front on the other guy. I don't remember who it was. It was in front of the net. and Scandella went to play it and just fucking missed it. And so then the puck gets sent back, and Ben's all alone coming from behind the net, circles in front, finds an open shot, takes it, beats Binnington. If it wasn't for Scandella misplaying the puck, which does happen, I'm not trying to dog Scandella, but it does happen. But if it's not for that play never happens. It wasn't bad defensive coverage. It was just a bad stick on puck. And that is the difference between last season. I think last season we would have seen Jamie Benn all alone in front because the defenseman is sitting in the corner trying to cover the center who has no play on the puck. Like, this was a bad stick on puck situation. So that was an interesting play that it just turned out to be the worst play of the game for the Blues, I think.
Right. And on that play, the TV guys, Kelly and Rivers were, quick to point out that Tucker got a stick on the shot too. Yeah. So he was in great position. Just it went off the stick and in the net the other way. But, in terms of Scandella missing that, that I agree. It's an unfortunate event. Not nearly as unfortunate as the Nashville guy who missed the puck last night when McDavid fell to his knees. Did you guys see that goal?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Go back and watch it. Falls to his knees. Should have easily been played out by Nashville. He does a spinorama on his knees. Nashville defenseman overskates the puck. He picks it up, goes in, and scores. Oof. Just ridiculous.
Oof. Of all people, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great call here from Matt Harris. Something else I noted was great focus on neutralizing some of the star players. I feel like Robertson was completely covered every time he was on the ice. Yeah. How many times last year was it Jason Robertson,
Kevin Fiala,
Matt Duchene, Kevin Fiala? I mean, the guys that the other team is trying to get the puck to, they're the guys that are scoring the goals. And the first thing you want to do is say, well, who the fuck is the defenseman on the ice? Of course, it's Colton Parayko because he's our number one. And you always wanted to blame him. But, again, small sample size, 2 games. Need to preface that again. But the fact that those aren't the guys that are beating us right now. Like, it's coming from other – now, granted, we've only given up 2 goals. But, Jamie Benn's a third liner at this point, I think. And Jaden Schwartz, he's a guy that we all know can put the puck in the net, but he's not a guy who's going to put up 40 goals. These are guys that are kind of role players at this point in their careers. And it's kind of refreshing to say, hey, Robertson didn't put 4 goals on us last night. Like that is a good thing to see.
Yeah, Robertson had 2 shots on goal in this game. And I remember one of them. So,
yep.
And I think it was fairly.
Was that the one he skated in on the wing? And
I think so. Far side
came in pretty. Yeah.
Binnington had 33 saves, 33 out of 34. And in fact, you mentioned the one shot that went in was as it was shot, went off a stick. So, in the shootout, in the overtime, Dallas owned overtime too. There was
They had that excellent 2-on-1 chance.
Yes.
And Binnington came up fucking huge. One of the best. Probably, I don't know. He had 2 really good saves. I want to say in the second. Yeah, it would have been the second period. There was a pass in front. Guy was right on the doorstep. It just went under the Blues defenseman's stick, and guy one-timed it. Binnington came up big with a flash in the pad. But, yeah, he made some big saves, and that one in overtime was obviously massive.
In the shootout, goals came from Robertson and Shen and Duchene. So, saves were Buchnevich, Seguin, and Kyrou. And Kyrou, when he came in, he just came in way too fast. I thought.
Yeah, he
lost the puck. And I'm like, yeah, dude.
I feel like Kyrou, and again, I'm not on the dog Kyrou bandwagon. We're going to talk about him, I think, here we will talk about him in this next game. But I don't like him in the shootout. I just don't. I think his percentage is like 1 for 13 now or something.
I like Thomas in the shootout more than Kyrou.
I do too. I don't think Kyrou is a one-on-one all the time in the world type player. Like you said, he came in so fast, and it's like, dude, that's what you do on a breakaway, not in the shootout. You need to come in with blazing speed.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan. I like Shen, Thomas, Buchnevich for the shootout personally, but obviously, I think they're going to keep going to Kyrou.
And I thought this was a good. I thought this was a good game. I thought the Blues played mostly very well in this game, considering it was a road game, first game of the season against a cup contender, and 5 minutes or plus into the third period, the Blues had the edge and expected goals for in the game to date, even though they're getting outshot. So, I mean, I thought it was a very good game. It was a fun game. It was an entertaining game. There was a lot to like, especially from the defense, and how they played and how they kept shots to the outside and how Binnington played. The power play we can talk about. It was terrible. The power play sucked in this game. It was not good. They couldn't get anything going. I thought
they literally had 0 shots, right?
I don't know. I didn't pull up.
I think 0 for 3 with 0 shots.
The power play against Seattle looked much better. They didn't score, but it looked much better against Seattle. So hopefully that comes around.
Yeah, I thought that. And Dallas is a pressuring team on the PK. They're going to really push any of the puck carrier. They'll even send 2 on the puck carrier sometimes, and I just don't think the Blues were honestly prepared for that. Hopefully, the next meeting with this team, they're a little bit more prepared for that type of defensive play. And Seattle's a little bit more relaxed, I think, on their PK. Like they're a little bit more, kind of let them have the outside, and we'll block anything that comes in, or we'll try to take it from them if they cut across the middle. Dallas loves to challenge, so I just think the Blues need to make that adjustment for the next time they see him.
Go ahead, Bill. I was going to say, I think Seattle not having Tanev had a lot to do with that too, right?
Yeah. Oh, God, that was a nasty hit on him that took him out. Did you see that?
I saw it at the time, but don't recall it. Oof. But yeah, it's
bad.
The Blues were 0 for 3 in the power play. Dallas is 0 for 4. The Blues had 18 block shots in this game. Dallas had 15. And Dallas won the faceoff battle 52.5 to 47.5. So 1 point for the Blues, which I was happy with. I mean, you're right there in the shootout. You want that second one, but at the end of the day, it's you got a point in Dallas. So you got to be happy with that, especially with the way, like we talked about, with the defense, how they played compared to last season, and how Binnington played. So,
yeah, I was. My goal was don't come out of this with a blowout loss. Like if we walk out of this 5-0 loss, that's when I'm like, God damn it. But they played good hockey. Binnington was great. He had to stand up on his head a little bit, but they played great hockey. The goals weren't coming, but that's all right. They got some chances. And yeah, I agree. Like this game goes to a shootout. That's a coin flip at this point. With any team in the league, it's a coin flip.
So what?
So I'm okay with
what
it.
I was worried about, like everybody was the defense, right? Coming in the season. And so far in this game, and we'll talk about the second game a little bit here in a sec, but much improved, right? So far, small sample size.
Oh yeah.
I'm not particularly worried about the offense yet, so we'll get that.
And when we say improve, we're not, it's not like, oh, well, they were, the breakouts. Well, the breakouts were better. Breakouts were probably about the same, just less turnovers. But when we say the defense was better, you're probably looking at shot count. And you're like, oh, the shot count's still high.
Yeah.
But a lot of shots from the outside. Not a lot of screens that worked to Dallas's favor. Blues would either block them or they didn't let him get the shot off. And they let Binnington see the puck. And like you said, like sticks in lanes that we never saw intercepted passes last year. It just never happened. It was maybe the Blues would luck out and it was like, oh, that guy missed the pass. He didn't expect it to get to him. Now it's like, holy shit. The Blues are actually getting sticks in lanes and stopping passes and clearing the puck or getting it to the forwards. Just weren't seeing that last year. And again, small sample size. I'll say that this will be the name of the episode, small sample size, but it looked good for 2 games.
So, Jeff, you've got a bit of a rant that you want to go on here.
I do.
Right? About advanced stats and goaltenders.
Sagan back for Heiskanen. Gets in front and a shot, rebound. What a save by Binnington on Pavelski. He robbed him from 5 feet away.
Line, we get the Sun Truck big save. Look at that right there. Just love to see that from Jordan Binnington. Deflection.
Back in session. Stars control. Here they come. Delayed call. Stars have numbers. Heiskanen, right side. Robertson. Save! Binnington's magic act continues. The Stars will get a power
power play, but Binnington keeps the game going.
Man, you can't get a better opportunity. It's great patience by Miro Heiskanen to hold it. He's trying to hold Binnington.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Yeah. So for those of you on the podcast, obviously you just heard the clips of some of Binnington's biggest saves. What you didn't see is Money Puck and other sites that like to keep analytics say there was 0 high danger chances in this game for Jordan Binnington to face. If you look at his stats from this game, there's a big fat 0 for high danger chances. What the fuck? How is that possible? I mentioned the save. I didn't put it in there. He made a save in the second period that was literally right on the doorstep, a one-time opportunity. How is that not a high danger save? How is the one with the puck coming across the crease? He makes the save, and by the way, the one where it was on the backhand, he had to the puck deflected like 3 times on the original shot from the point. So he's trying to like move his body and understand where the puck's going to come from. It hits him, and then he knows to slide across and not let that again. Like there's so many things that happen in a hockey game with any shot, any goal, any play. There are so many things that factor into what a goaltender, what a shooter, what a defenseman has to deal with. And listen, I'm not saying Kurt, you said it on Twitter earlier today, and I'm 100% with you. I am not anti-advanced stats at all. I think advanced stats are great. They really help paint the picture of the game. But for me, at least especially for goaltending, you cannot quantify how good a goalie is by looking at advanced stats. I wish I would have pulled up this tweet. He might have deleted it. I tried looking for it this morning. I saw somebody literally say, I watched this game, and this is this isn't word for word, but he said, I watched this game and I thought Binnington played really well, but then I looked at the advanced stats and said, oh, he didn't really face that many shots, or he didn't face that many good chances. And I'm like, you are admitting you watched the game and thought he played well, but then you looked at the advanced stats and decided he didn't? Like, no, trust your eye. Like, and that's why we cannot just completely go off advanced stats. It's crazy that so many people that are getting paid to report about hockey, all they look at is advanced stats. And I'm going to get off my soapbox here in a minute. I'm sure you guys have comments on this, but I'll just say that when it comes to looking at goaltenders and advanced stats, it is a great thing to have, great thing to look at. But Jordan Binnington is example 1 from last season that you can still be again, I will say, I don't think he was great. I don't think he was exceptional. I thought he was good last year, good enough. And when you look at the stats, he was like the 68th worst goalie or the 68th best goalie in the league, like 3 from the bottom that played. That's fucking horseshit. The guy had a monster year having to make up for these defensive issues we've been bitching about for over a year. And I just think people need to cut him some slack. And hopefully this year with a better defense, if it continues in front of him, he will prove all those haters wrong once again, because I think that could easily happen.
What was the those 2 highlights you showed? I looked, the combined distance the both shooters were from the net. It's probably like 10 feet combined.
Yeah.
Combined,
so
yeah.
It's not like,
I was going to say the first one was probably 5 feet. The other one was
about the same.
Actually, I was probably about 4 feet.
Yeah,
it was probably about 6 feet.
It was close. It was 10 feet or so. And so it's not like these chances are coming from 15 feet out, whether it's, he's got time to react, and he should make the save. Because, in audio, you can't really tell. But they're in close. They're diving, lunging, reaction saves, robbing, highway robbery, if you will, players. So, and for that not to be a high danger scoring chance, either one of them, it's like that's just a very small sample size. Again, the theme of the show of why what we've been preaching for a long time about advanced stats. And again, like you said, love advanced stats. They're fun. I love looking at advanced stats after I've watched a game. I want to see if they back up what I saw. And if they don't, I'm like, I wonder why that is. What, do I have to rethink how I looked at the game? And I think, nope. I'm thinking back. I'm like, no, I think Binnington had a better game than these stats are saying. So I'm not, that's why I don't put a ton of faith in advanced stats in games that I haven't watched. It's a grain of salt with me. I mean, I'll look at them. Okay, all right. But I'd rather hear from somebody who watched the game, who knows what to look for. An example, goaltending, right? If you know what to look for when you're watching a game, then you should be able to kick advanced stats ass as far as analyzing goes.
Right. And
agree.
From a goaltender perspective, Binnington, like his form on those two saves, on those two sequences was perfect, right? He had himself in exactly the right position. And, I think Robertson, his only chance on that was a one-timer, and he wasn't set for it. Maybe early season jitters, but even then, by the time he got the wrist shot off, like Binnington had everything covered. And it was, both of them were, that one in particular was a perfect push. Right. And Pavelski was just, reacting and getting the love right where it needed to be once the puck rolled out to Pavelski. Beautiful goaltending by Binnington. Loved every second of that. And so glad we got to watch the highlights here on the show tonight.
Yes, we did.
And, I think advanced stats do have a nice place in sports analysis. But like you said, Jeff, and you touched on, I think people are just using them wrong. They're using them as the end-all, be-all analysis for players, and they're using them to discredit people who actually watch the games. And, if you're watching the games, now that doesn't apply to everybody. Some people who watch the games, in all honesty, they don't know what they're looking for as far as analysis goes. Yeah. Maybe they never really played hockey. They don't understand situations. They don't understand everything that goes into a situation that, is going to play into an advanced stat a certain way. That's fine. But I'm referring more to people who know what they're looking for, people who have been fans for a long time, studied the game, played the game. They're just educated in analysis, right? Just from watching, and they know what to look for in a player. And situations and plays, and if a goalie, quote, should have had a puck. It's a pretty simple question, right? Is that the goalie's fault, or is it not the goalie's fault? And I think far too often advanced stats will say it is his fault, when really, if you've only watching the game, that's a weird flex to go by ink on paper over somebody who actually watched the game in detail.
So I will tell you, and listen, we make a lot of jokes on this show. I respect the hell out of Stephen Ground of Two Guys, One Cup. There's a reason I had him on this show so much this summer. Great guy, knows the game, studies the game, but he is an advanced stats guy, and we butt heads a lot. Me and Kurt mostly with Stephen online. It's all in fun.
That's okay. People can be wrong about advanced stats.
Right, exactly, 100%. But no, so he did respond because I did tweet that out and say, what in the hell? And it was specifically the overtime save he made. And he said that he pulled up, I can't remember what the
natural
site was
stat trick
he used, but natural stat trick. And basically said, well, it was kind of from the side. It was from the side of the net. So there's a chance that quantifies it as a medium danger chance. Plus, maybe they don't count advanced stats in overtime. And then he said it could also just be a scorekeeper error. And I'm like, okay, yes, all that true, first of all. But the one about it being and he also said there's also the percentage they add in that it's on a rush. So that gets like another point, which adds it to the high danger chance. Maybe they missed that, whatever. I'm just like, again, I don't know how you can literally just mathematically map it out like on a hockey rink and just say, oh, if it's from this shot, if it's from right here, that's a high danger chance. That's, that gets 10 points as opposed to 5. It's like, okay, so you're telling me if a guy has the puck and he's, just kind of standing in front of the net and his stick's tied up and the puck's just laying there, and then he takes a small little tap at it and it slides into the crease and the goalie covers it, that's a high danger chance as opposed to somebody taking a 105 bomb from the top of the circles? Like, how is that even? That's not a thing. Like, that can't be how we mathematically figure out if a player is good or not on the rink.
There are 1,000 different things that factor in to a situation on every goal or shot, right? And there's never two exact shots or situations where this is exactly the same. It just doesn't happen. There's all kinds of things that factor into it, right? Exactly where the defense is. Was the puck? Did the puck slightly graze off somebody on a pass to somebody else? There's so many intangibles in a game to try and create this blanket statement of a stat for advanced stats for goalies. I just, with everything that factors into it, it's almost like you just have to watch it and it sounds simple and it sounds redundant, but if you know what you're looking at and you know what you're looking for, you don't need advanced stats for me to say if a goalie played a puck poorly or if that was more on him or if it was just a great chance and a great shot. Blaming goaltending is like a rite of passage for a lot of people to become fans of the NHL because they blame goaltenders for everything. But yeah, I think advanced stats kind of do a lot of that when they probably shouldn't. Again, like you said, I like advanced stats. I do. I look at them a lot. But not necessarily for the Blues in a way that will, I'll change my opinion on what I saw in a game.
I would love for an advanced statistician, and maybe they have, and I just need to look it up, to go back and watch Grant Fuhr. And I know it's a different time, but go back and watch Grant Fuhr in his Oilers days and tell me how awful Grant Fuhr was for giving up the goals he did. Yet Wayne Gretzky says he's the greatest goalie of all time. Like, there's so much that factors in, and I know that's extreme example, but Wayne Gretzky says that because he was a clutch guy. It didn't matter where the shot came from in the waning minutes of the game. You could trust Grant Fuhr. Maybe he's given up a bad goal in the first period, and the stats will tell you, oh my God, he should have definitely made that save. But it's like, they also didn't really play defense on the Oilers, and it's kind of reminiscent of last year with the Blues, except they didn't have the offense. But it's just, there's so much things that goes into any hockey game ever. And to just, I don't know, for me to boil it down to numbers and say, this gets that, this gets this gets, it's crazy to me. I just can't. I've played the game my whole life, and I could never do that with my own game. It's crazy.
Yeah, it seems like advanced stats have a long way to go, right? Before they become, and if they can ever get there, to accurately define, goaltending and defense on a respect, or a lot of positions, but it seems like goaltending in particular. I know that they cover a lot of stuff. I know that they do. They talk about, that they do factor a number of things into these advanced stats, which, is good. But again, we talked about this at length last year, quite a bit about how it's just, it's the educated eye test is superior to me. Not even close. So
I'm sure our listeners right now are sitting there going, is this an episode from last year? Are they just re-airing what they said?
It's just, advanced stats are getting more and more popular, and more people are using them to write articles and to define. I'm not talking about Steven. I'm just talking about, like, generally speaking, a lot of people are doing this, and that's great. Because for a lot of people, it's impossible to watch every game and every situation. You need these advanced stats to kind of help, like you said, Jeff, paint the picture of the game to help you write your article or make your point or whatever. But for us, for example, in covering the Blues, advanced stats are a fun thing to rattle off, but it's not going to shape my opinion because I'm watching the games. I don't need that. Mm-hmm. I don't need that crutch I can just watch it.
Our friend Mike Meyer, I believe this is not the guy from Halloween, not Austin Powers, but I believe this is Mike Meyer, former guest co-host of this show, says #watch the game. And he's a guy, going to pump your tires here a little, Mike. If you read his stuff over at thehockeywriters.com, he's also a Blues media member. I've seen him use advanced stats in his writing, but he does not base everything off that. He's got an analytical mind, but he uses his eyes to tell the story he wants to tell with his stories. So I want to give some kudos there to Mike, thehockeywriters.com.
That's the way to go. I mean, you watch the games, you have the educated eye, right, to form an opinion, and you use advanced stats to support that or whatever, if you can. That's cool, but I don't know. I don't want to beat a dead horse too much here, but Blues second game against the Kraken, the home opener for St. Louis. Blues did win this one 2-1 in a shootout on Saturday. Seems like forever ago. McCann for Seattle interfered with Binnington. They awarded this goal as a good goal at first, and the Blues challenged it. Fantastic challenge. Stick kind of got underneath Binnington's blocker, the top of his blocker. And when he went to make this blocker save, he just couldn't. And he may have embellished the whole thing just to draw attention. Hey, this guy's got a stick on my, in prohibiting me from making this save. And sure enough, they did overturn the goal.
You know what I was impressed by with this, honestly, and I say impressed. I know I've talked about how much I love Binnington's antics, as people call it. He didn't lose his shit. No.
He didn't even wave to the bench and say, challenge this.
Maybe it's early season and he's just not his mind's not in that I'm pissed off, I need to pump the team up mindset kind of thing. But I was so impressed to be Binnington didn't say a fucking word.
I was
And maybe he I'm sure because we all weren't at the game. Maybe at one point he looked over at Berube and just gave him a hey, you might want to look at that. But I mean, still, it wasn't a what the fuck screaming at the ref. That was impressive to see.
Yeah, no, he totally kept his composure, and it kind of makes me think that that was part of the coaching staff's conversation with him. Right, is let us take care of the technical parts of the game. If there's going to be a challenge, we're going to be the ones to make it. And based on the early season track record of the video coach team, they're on fire, right? Catching the offside in the Dallas game and catching this. I mean, not that this wasn't that obvious. I mean, those kinds of plays used to drive me nuts. And there were guys that would do this in practice, and it was usually always not going for the blocker, but interfering with the butt end of the stick.
Yeah,
just I get a little bit of used to drive me absolutely batshit crazy, and nothing you could do about it at practice. But 9 times out of 10, refs going to pick up on it, and now with video review in the NHL, they're going to catch it pretty much every time. Although
you know what I do?
They still haven't got that right with goalies, right? The goaltender interference is still the most inconsistent thing in the NHL.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I would do? I would take my stick and I'd slide my top end down like a foot. And I would use that butt end to then go on top of the goalie's butt end and just kind of just leverage it, and then their stick would come off the ice.
Oh, you are way more slick than me, because back when I used to practice and fuck with my goalie, I would literally just take the blade of my stick and I'd come down and I'd just hit the knob of his stick as hard as I could, knock it out of his hand.
And that's how you get a penalty.
Well, it was in practice. Okay. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, hold on to your stick, bro.
See, if I come up on the side of the goalie, I'm like brushing up against him, I slide that stick down and just whoop.
My goalie got mad at me a couple times. Like, dude, you're gonna break my finger one of these times. I'm like, well, maybe if you just hold on to your stick, it wouldn't be an issue. Shut the fuck up.
Goalies have remedies for that too, and I don't know if I ever did it to Kurt, but I've done it to a couple of people. But you hit the butt end, and all of a sudden I lost control of that part of my stick, and did it hit you in the face? I'm sorry.
Well,
who was the king of that? Ron Hextall.
Mm-hmm.
He used to pull shit There was one time I remember I saw a guy, he came up and he like barely tapped the underside of Hextall's stick. His stick flew up and got the guy right in the fucking teeth. And I think he even lost some choppers and he was bleeding all over the ice. And they didn't call a penalty because Hextall was just like, he's the one that slashed my stick. And it's like, yeah, dude, he touched you with very, very minimal force.
Oh, man, I had some sword fights with some goalies. You'd go in front, you'd screen them, they'd give you a shot in the back to try and see, and then if they got me hard enough, if the cup check from between the legs and behind, if I got one of those, I just spun around and whacked them across the pads, and then all of a sudden we're going at it. I miss that so much.
Oh, that was the best part. Whenever you were at, because you would somebody would slash you, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm falling," and you'd bring your stick across.
Literally did that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got cross-checked
that all the time.
I got cross-checked in front of the goal, and I went down, and totally on purpose, I had my stick blade, two hands on my stick, and my stick blade just right across the side of the goalie's face because it was his defenseman who knocked me down, and I'm like, "That's yeah."
Was it Bill?
No, no. I don't think I played against Bill ever.
Just pickup games and whatnot. But
I'm not.
So you never played against Bill, but you did hit him in the head with a slap shot.
Yes, wrist shot.
Wrist shot. One of my favorite stories to bring up.
Yeah. Well, he should have been sitting on the bench.
I shouldn't have been sitting on the bench trying to convince Mike Touche to play with us when we only had 4 guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine having to convince somebody to play hockey. Just play, dude. Come on. What else you got going on?
Agree.
He would have been slumming play with us, though.
Oh, yeah. He was, yeah. Man, back in the day, he was lightning, man. He's fast. So good. So second period, Seattle scores first. Jaden Schwartz scored his first of the season. 40 seconds into the period, deflection.
Very
nice goal,
reminiscent of the first goal. The disallowed goal by Borkstrand.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
because it was that was a deflected shot as well. So,
mm-hmm.
That would have been McKinnon's goal because he deflected it.
McKinnon?
Mm-hmm. McCann. Sorry,
McCann. Yeah, McCann.
McKinnon.
Yeah,
I believe he deflected.
He hopped on the ice for that.
Yeah, he deflected it and interfered with Binnington at the same time. So I believe.
I think you're right. Yeah. No, this one. I mean, it was a great deflection by Jaden Schwartz. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like this goal. I was a little unhappy with it.
So the 2 goals that have been scored on Binnington this season, a shot by Ben that Tucker tried to block and off his stick, and by Binnington from 10 feet out, 8 feet out, something like that. And then this one was deflection. So Binnington hasn't allowed in 2 games a clean shot by him. So I mean, if you've seen it, he stopped it.
Well, the first one in Dallas, they had a disallowed goal. That was clean, but it was also offside.
Right. Didn't count, though. It was not a goal.
So it wasn't even a shot.
Yeah. I mean, I get you. But yeah.
But no, I agree with you. You're right. Just technically speaking. But yeah, he has looked good. And I think we said the same thing at the start of last year. So let's hope that, again, this defense plays better throughout the year. And we see this maybe not this Jordan Binnington, but a version of this Jordan Binnington where it's like, okay, we can trust this guy to not give up 4 goals, get pissed and give up maybe 1 or 2 weak ones here or there. If he can play like this and just continue to just stretch the pads and just make the right saves, the saves he needs to make, this team, even with the low score.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
You know what we need?
Close.
You know what we need? We need one that says 10:30 and one that says 11. So we can just if we miss it, we can just wait for the next half hour to do it.
We can make that happen.
Yeah. To do a voice. We should recreate that. I can remake the graphic and we can redo the we can have DJ Joe. He's got that deep voice,
Yeah. We could do that.
He will listen once in a while. We should ask him to do it. Ask him to
there you go.
Hook us up with it's a 10 p.m. You know where children are audio. That'd be funny.
Yep. But no, I think overall, Binnington has just been phenomenal. Defense has been better, and let's hope that continues throughout the rest of the year.
Jordan Kyrou tied this game up. with his first of the season at 7:49. Real nice goal. Pass from Thomas. Hopefully many more to come. Thomas to Kyrou this season.
The thing that I loved about this goal that nobody talked about in the replays, Kyrou had to make quite the play to stay onside as they were breaking in. I thought a very nice heads-up play by him because he dumped it off to, I believe he dumped it to Thomas. And, it was right as they were crossing the line, and Kyrou was ready. He was ready to jet to the net. But then I think he realized, oh, shit. And he kind of straddled the line. You could tell he wanted to, I think they still have that mindset of I can't pick my foot up, even though now it's a plane. And he straddled that line with his foot, even though he was going pretty hard. And then right when Thomas entered, he went right behind him. And I thought that was a very, very heads-up play by Kyrou. Something I don't think we saw a lot of early last season. I think I know he's only scored one goal, and a lot of people gave him trouble over the shootout move, but I've liked his play so far, and obviously he gets right where he needs to be to take a great shot and scores a big goal here. So love Kyrou's play so far.
Right, and hearing the I don't remember if it was Thomas or Kyrou talking about it. Right, it was the reinforcement that came off of a build-up from a good defensive shift. Right, they defended well, went back the other way. And,
I believe Binnington made a nice save.
He did.
Yeah.
So they broke in on the Kraken did on a very brief 2-on-1. It was barely considered a 2-on-1. And he made a nice save, and the Blues were able to get the puck out. They'd go down, boom. And that's not the type of play we saw last season.
Yeah, getting back too late to have the effective, transition play back up the ice. And great, they have such great chemistry, having played together, for several years now. Thomas being able to find Kyrou on a very tight angle pass and Kyrou bearing it. It was brilliant.
That across the body pass that Thomas does, and it reminds me of an Oates. And again, I hate to compare Thomas to a guy like that, but we can do it, Kurt. I'm sure you've done it plenty of times. The kind of this weird motion you have to make when you pass it back across your body.
Where you tuck your top hand becomes you switch basically switch spots with your I get you.
It's such an awkward thing to do with a hockey stick, and it just Thomas does it to perfection. He can make that pass. He's got his head on a swivel. He's so good at knowing where his teammates are going to be, and he kind of looked him off and then skated back towards the net and then shoveled it back right where Kyrou was heading toward, and such a smart heads up play and a great play by Kyrou getting to that spot because he knew that he saw the break in coverage and said, I just need to go straight to the net. Thomas is going to get it to me. And that's exactly what happened.
This game went into overtime, and Seattle had the puck for the first minute and a half, something like that, and the Blues hadn't touched the puck yet. And then back and forth a little bit. It was pretty good overtime. Went to a shootout. Thomas got the goal for the Blues. Real nice on the little forehand, backhand. Deke up high. Classic shootout move, right? And Bill, okay, if this move is executed perfectly, how hard is it to stop? Because it's the old forehand, backhand, tuck it up under the bar. That's tough, is it?
Yeah,
not?
Once you get your momentum going, to the glove side. If you're a left-hand catch goalie, right-hand blocker, once you get that momentum, the blocker, and I haven't played with the newer technology, but just the weight of the body, is going to take you over. Back in my day when we played with 40-pound waffle boards, I'm sure it was more difficult, but yeah, once you get that split second, and that's these guys, it's microseconds for the professionals, right? That an elite guy like Thomas, see, I got Thomas's elite. I got it in there.
Nice.
He's gonna, he'll score more often than not, right? And that was it was a great move. Very difficult to defend at any level.
shooters that were unsuccessful in the shootout. Shen and Kairu both did not score, and then Bernier, Borkstrand, and Eberle both did not score. All three. Binnington stopped all three, is what I was trying to say.
And I think it was the second one, Bjorkstrand, where the guy came in on his forehand. Let's see, he was a lefty. So, yeah. Was he a lefty?
Borkstrand's righty.
Yeah, so I think it was Borkstrand.
He came in wide near side, yeah.
Yeah, and then he came near side, and then the angle on the TV, as I was watching this with friends, it hit I think it hit his leg pad, and then it popped straight up in the air.
Hard
and
to
then
tell.
Dropped in front of him.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, God, like I threw my arms up. I'm like, damn it. And they're like, I think he made the save. Oh, he did make the save.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh.
I thought the same thing. I thought
perspective.
Because I was watching it at Global Group, and man, I love and hate watching games in bars. I'd much rather watch a game that's not the Blues in a bar, but because you don't hear the audio, and it's just you miss some things. And yeah, I was not extremely close to the TV, and I thought it might have went over his head and off his back and in or something.
Yeah, it looked like it popped behind and then dropped, and then was going to go in the net. And and I saw it land in front of him, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
So Blues won this game 2-1. My thoughts on this game and the season so far. They've especially in this game, they tried to get Verana set up on the power play for the one timer right on the boards. Hasn't worked yet. He flubbed a couple, shot a couple wide. I like that. He has a good shot. Just need to keep plugging away, I guess, for a little bit. Too many missed chances in the ozone. Shots wide. My God. It's like everyone has Parayko's shot. And Parayko, speaking of which, taking charge up the ice. He has carried the mail a number of times and been much more active in the neutral zone with the puck and carrying the puck through the zone. And I was like, this is what I talked about before the season started, as far as like things that Parayko used to do that I missed and that you didn't see him do last year or the year before, really. And he's doing it now.
If we're seeing it now, I mean, does it go back to Mike Van Ryn?
I mean, it maybe, probably. I mean, it's a defensive scheme. Players might have slightly different responsibilities, right, as far as what they're allowed to do. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, it's a weapon. The neutral zone play is huge, and if you can cut through the neutral zone with, I mean, he's. I mean, say what you will about Parayko's play the last season and a half or whatever. He's still fast. He's still big. He's still lanky.
And he's crafty. He's got good hands.
So it'd be great if this was his new or responsibility, this return from the past, right? To be more active in carrying the puck through the neutral zone.
I thought he was really good. I thought Falk has been really good with the puck through the neutral zone. Again, I breakouts to me are probably more coached by like the skills coach and Berube, obviously his system. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be some influence you've got to think from Mike Weber telling him, hey, we all know what you can do. Go. Like, just fucking go and do it. And we are seeing it. I
just thought it was funny.
It's Parayko of old. It's crazy.
I just thought it was funny because
where have you been, sir?
Well, I mean, because we talked about this like 2 weeks ago, right? About things or last week even, I guess, that things that we wanted to see out of Parayko, and this was it. And damn, he's doing it.
Right.
So far, 2 games, right? But still.
2 games.
Right. And, Army talked about it in the presser, right? That he's got to be more of a J-Bo type player, right? Skate the puck out.
Yeah.
Don't try to, make passes and make stupid backhand, dumps into the middle. You've got the skill, skate it out.
Yeah.
He's doing it.
Make that first move around the guy and kind of, wedge off and skate by him and go, So
you have to wonder if it was a confidence thing, maybe not even just in himself, but in his defensive partner. And, knowing the system they had, if I get burned, we're fucked because this team cannot play defense. Maybe Weber has found a way to instill confidence in not only themselves, but in their own teammates and trusting that your guys are going to be there when you need them to be. Because, and again, I'm giving way too much credit to a new coach here, but it just feels different already in 2 games.
The power play, like I mentioned earlier, better versus Seattle than Dallas. Still no goals, but much better against Seattle as far as chances and shots on net and possession in the zone. Too many 2-on-1s though against Seattle. There were like 4 or 5 2-on-1s against. That was a lot.
Yeah.
And that's got to be addressed. Overall though, like we talked about, defense couldn't be happier. Actually, the turnaround from last season so far. Because they
what's funny
so
is I feel like there's still room for improvement.
Oh yeah,
they could still get better, and it's like hopefully we don't see. I'm sure at some point we'll see some small decline, but man, if they can play the way that we've seen the last 2 games, I think that is like ideal. Holy shit! Like this is great, but if they can even get better. Oh my God, look out. Like that is phenomenal.
Sports are funny, right? Because the team can look a certain way for a little while and then fall off a cliff, or they can look a certain way and then just get progressively better. So we'll see which direction this team goes as the season goes on.
Right. This is the last time I say it, I swear. Small sample size.
Sure.
But can you believe, looking at how we're already kind of looking at the defense and saying, oh, man, it's better than last year. You believe Mike Van Ryn still is working in the NHL? Come on, Toronto. You saw this defense the last couple of years. What is wrong with you?
It's Toronto.
On a team that doesn't know how to play defense, and they hire possibly the worst defensive coach in the NHL.
He'll blend right in. So Shen and Kyrou got into a scrum in practice. This was yesterday, I think. According to Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic. It did not last long and wasn't a fight, but definitely a scrum between the two. They were later seen talking and laughing when in line for a drill. So, it's funny. People get so stupid about this stuff. And I just don't think they understand, what goes on in hockey practices in the NHL. Every team has this. Every once in a while it happens. Usually not a big deal, It wasn't it wasn't like throwing haymakers like Bortuzzo did against
Zach Sanford.
Yeah,
Blues legend Zach Sanford.
Right.
Stanley Cup champion,
Zach Sanford. So and one of the responses to JR on Twitter gave a very strange response, which I thought I would mention just to show how people just. I don't know. Said this is from Liut Cujo. 1. You should not have to push an $8 million player to get with the program, yet the GM gave him the deal and now expects his favorite hand-picked captain to get him in line? ? It seems every team the Blues ice has 2 to 3 guys who don't want to be here. Why? What does that have to do with anything? About that?
Is he talking about Shen or Kyrou?
He's talking about Kyrou, who doesn't want to be here, and that Shen has to try and whip him in line because the GM gave him $8 million.
But he talks backhandedly about Shen too.
I don't know.
Favorite and hand-picked captain? Like what is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. But you saw a lot of this kinds of stuff. It's just about the scrum in practice, and people are like just dogging on Kyrou and dogging on the Blues. Oh, what's going on? It's a big problem. No, it isn't. It's not a big problem at all. It's just
I will say I think I saw more, and it's because of what happened in 2019.
Yes,
I saw more positivity this time around.
Well,
in 2019 it was implode, trade everyone. Obviously these guys all hate each other, and it's like and I hate to do this, but to pat ourselves on the back, but every person who's ever played fucking hockey was saying, hey, this happens. This is part of the game. It happens in practice. These guys are, 1, they're around each other all the time. And 2, like they practice almost every day. They're sitting in team meetings. Like they're close. They trust me. It's like a brother-brother relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you do with your brothers, right?
Sometimes
Kurt,
you fight.
I know you know.
Sometimes
you fucking fight.
Yes, I mean you don't. But you love your brothers, but you fight. Sometimes.
I love my brother. We used to fight all the time when we were kids.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a lack of perspective on the game, and I don't know. And again, to touch on back what I said earlier, social media kind allows people to have voices larger than what they probably should have with stuff like this. So it just makes it seem like
the fact that it was really nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not blaming friend of the show, JR. I'm just saying, like, he put this out there. He's like, I should probably put this out there because
I would
I'm
too.
reporting on the team. Yeah,
I would too.
But so I don't blame him one bit. But yeah, that some people are just gonna run this to the ground and be like, oh, what the hell's going on with this team? And it's calm the fuck down. This happens.
Right. And, the comment, hand-picked captain, it's better than the, pull the name out of a hat captain. I think that's how Eric Brewer got it, right?
What does that even mean, hand-picked captain?
I didn't really
Of course
get
there's
that either.
hand-picked. They picked him as a captain.
No, I will say, I always, and I think we've said this on the show, I do like when they let the team vote on the captain. The Blues don't do that. It's always been Armstrong picking it. So I think that's what he's saying is like Armstrong picked this guy, nobody else did. But it's like, why are you dogging Shen? Like, I think everyone would agree that Shen was the right choice.
Yeah. From what I understand, Berube and Armstrong had meetings on this. So, I'm sure Berube brought the team perspective to the table as far as input for this decision too. So, but yeah, ultimately it is Armstrong's decision, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know.
Either way, this was
I think the
situation.
The one in 2019 was on video, so that kind of put it more in the spotlight. Understandably so, people saw it, and it was pretty good. There was some haymakers thrown by.
That was a real fight.
Yeah, well, for one side, I don't think Sanford threw any punches at all. But yeah, so that's don't freak out, guys.
Well, and again, this is the creation of social media has changed so many aspects of our lives. I remember back watching, I want to say it was 2003 training camp. Some kid came into training camp. Keith Tkachuk was on his team. They had like the blue versus the yellow team. And some dude, this kid, I remember who it was, ran McInnes. Like, it wasn't even that hard. He kind of gave him an extra shot after he cleared the puck into the boards. And Tkachuk, same team as this kid, came up, dropped his gloves, and dropped a couple fists on him, and then skated right to the penalty box. I think he skated off. It was like, I'm done. And it was like, what the hell? And it's like, yeah, dude, this is hockey. That's what we do. We protect our people. We, play hard. We go at it sometimes. That's just what happens with hockey sometimes. It's a heated game.
Dalibor Dvorsky, the Blues' first-round draft pick, number 10 overall, was reassigned to the OHL Sudbury Wolves. He was playing for SHL's IK Oskarsham? Oskarsham? Oskarsham.
I don't know.
Not going to work here anymore.
Not going to work here no more.
Selected by the Blues 10th overall in the last draft. He appeared in 10 games, 0 points. Last two games, his ice time was 1:35 and 44 seconds. Recorded just 11 shots, none in the past 3 games. He is eligible for the AHL in 2024-25. There was a lot of speculation online about whether he was eligible for the AHL now. And apparently that's not the case. So.
Yeah, basically the Blues' choice was either reassign him to Sudbury, who selected him in the, what do they call that? The export draft?
Yep.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, the European export draft, where basically it's like if a player comes over, we have his rights. And so that's what they did. And the Blues option was either send him there or have him play for the Blues. And obviously, I don't think the Blues are ready to play an 18-year-old at this point.
So it was said that after evaluating Dalibor's situation in Sweden and talking with him and his representatives, we jointly decided that the opportunity to play regular minutes at Sudbury against his peer group in the OHL would be the best thing for his development at this time. We look forward to watching his continued growth as a player. Dvorsky, who was 18 years old, wasn't progressing toward a top 6 role with Oskarsham, and in fact didn't have much of a role at all. The club was in last place, 14th in the SHL standings with a record of 2-8. Dvorsky didn't have any points, and his ice time had been limited to just we talked about that Sudbury GM Rob Papineau said Dalibor is walking into a great situation. We're bringing him into to be a top line guy. That's where he fits in our plans right now. The one area we have been struggling early on is our power play, and that's sort of an area that he specializes in as well. He's going to get a lot of opportunity to develop in all situations. And Dvorsky was the best Blues player in their prospect camp in July and figured to have a chance to make the team out of training camp next summer, or if not a year later. So rough start for him, needless to say, in Sweden, but hopefully he'll get more ice time in a better situation with Sudbury.
Go ahead, Bill.
I was going to say, and he's protected by Shoresy playing for Sudbury.
That's a good point. So yeah, apparently his average ice time was low as hell, 10-10. And basically our friend actually, you can follow her on Twitter at VRAIN91. Our friend Vanessa Graff, who has co-hosted the show a couple times. She basically broke it down very well on Twitter. You can go to my page. I retweeted her earlier today. But basically, her big thing was basically they didn't let him play center. Apparently, he has always played center. Now, as an 18-year-old, he will continue to grow and eventually be in a winger position. But when you're playing in the first tier of the SHL, and because he was second tier last year, which he excelled at, and he played center all the time, when you're moved to the first tier and you're told you're playing wing and you're only getting 10 minutes of ice time, that's not going to work out for you. So I think sending him to the OHL, letting him groom a little bit as a player, I saw people saying oh no, did the Blues make a bad draft pick? Way too early to tell here. Like you said, Kurt, every person I talked to that saw him in prospect camp said he was the best player out there. And we saw him a little bit in the preseason, needed some conditioning, needed some work, but overall a pretty good player. So yeah, I think nothing to worry about here. I think this is just a good asset management move by the Blues to go ahead and let him play in OHL, let him season there, let him marinate. And when he's ready for NHL primetime, you can put him on the wing and he's going to be fine.
Next up for the St. Louis Blues, Thursday, which if you're listening to the podcast is tonight, probably. If you're listening to the podcast on Thursday, it's tonight.
If you're listening on Friday, it was
yesterday, yeah. Versus the...
I don't know why I love doing that to you, but I do.
The Winnipeg, Phoenix, Arizona at 7 o'clock, 2024 Blues Hall of Fame class. Oh, I'm skipping my head here.
You're just reading the script.
Well, so Thursday versus you put this in here. So Thursday versus Arizona at 7 o'clock, and then you've got as a subheading 2024 Blues Hall of Fame class announced.
Yeah, they're announcing the class tomorrow night
during the game
before the game.
Before the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So be in your seats by 7 o'clock, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, I put in there OG Winnipeg, Phoenix, Arizona, just to fuck with you, and I'm glad it worked.
Yeah.
Next time, just go with "fuck you, San Diego."
Fuck you, Arizona.
Saturday we play Pittsburgh at 7 o'clock, and Tuesday we're in Winnipeg at 7:45. And Tuesday is the day of the NHL is doing their NFL Red Zone copycat thing. Whip around show? Is that what you call
well,
it?
that's what they call them, apparently. I didn't know that. I learned that today.
No. Frozen
Apparently,
Frenzy,
they call those NFL Red Zone type shows, they call those whip around shows.
I like it. I like that. The Frozen Frenzy. So I wish they'd do this. This is a trial, right? They're going to do this once, and if it goes over well, they'll do it again, I guess. But I just like to see them do it. Just do it all the time.
I hate how they're doing it, though. Because it's starting at 6 our time.
Yeah.
It starts on ESPN Plus, but then at 7, they're moving it to ESPN 2. And I'm like, just have it on one channel. What are you doing?
Here's an idea. Have it start at noon. I know it's during the week, but still, if you start, they're staggering the start times by, 15 minutes or whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, so they can have the staggered start times, but start it at noon and you can stagger them by like an hour. right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
An hour and a half. And you can play.
Well, you have to hope that if they do this on a Saturday, that eventually they'll have something like that. This is just their trial run. Let's see how it goes. Because I think there's going to be some hiccups with it being, again, hockey isn't football. Football is.
That's different.
Okay. There's a break in play. Let's go to the next game. There's break in play. Let's go to the next game. This is, okay, there's power play. Go. Oh, my God, a goal scored. Go. Like, this is going to be it's a trial for us, and it's a trial for ESPN.
I'm very curious to see how it's going to work because, like you said, football, there's a lot of downtime, right?
Yeah.
A play takes 6-7 seconds, and there's 35 seconds of downtime.
Yep.
So, or whatever it is. So this will be interesting because play doesn't stop that much in the NHL.
Well, and then also they're concluding the coverage at 10. So basically, you're just saying,
4 hours.
Fuck you, West Coast. Like, I haven't checked. I don't know if there is West Coast.
Are they concluding at 10? Really? I thought they were playing every team's in action, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they should cover surely
I haven't looked
all game long.
Maybe all the West Coast teams are on a Eastern Conference trip or something. But I feel like that's crazy to me. There's not a West Coast game. I'll look it up. But yeah, they did specifically say coverage ends at 10 p.m. Eastern.
I guess
and I'm just like, okay, so what do you?
It's got to be. Then? Well, I don't know. We'll see. But I guess they stagger the start times by like, I don't know what it is, 10 or 15 minutes.
I think it's 15 minutes.
So they can have a bunch of games overlapping at one time. So they'll have more options to go to. I don't know. We'll see. It starts at 6 p.m. Central, ESPN Plus. So I'll be watching, I guess, Tuesday.
All right, let me see. Tuesday. All right, yeah. So here's the start times for all the games. 6:30, 6:45, 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, 9, 9:15, 9:45, 10:30, and 11. So like you're literally telling those last 3 games to fuck off because you're just like,
are you sure that they're concluding at 10?
I'm telling you, that is what the press release said.
Okay. Maybe it was. Okay.
It's 10 p.m. Maybe it's 11 Eastern. Oh, shit. Well, now I don't trust myself.
They've got to stay with it through all the games. They have to.
And I was going to make they have to cut it off so that they can do a, fantasy football draft recap show.
Oh, of course.
Right at ESPN. That's what they do.
And surely there's going to be games the night before and the night after, right? So some teams playing back to back because they're not going to have 2 out of 3 days with no hockey, right?
Yeah,
I'd imagine. Okay.
I'm looking it up. All
right. So rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. Evgeny Kuznetsov had a super slow shootout goal last night that kind of had people pissed off on the social medias, as everyone is inclined to be nowadays on social media. They're all pissed off at everything. But we've got it here. We'll let you look at it for those who are watching.
Kuznetsov will be the first shooter against Ilya Sorokin.
Oh, and this is not going to be fast.
He's not even going to carry the puck. Kuznetsov trying to lull him to sleep. And he scores. Picked up the base at the very end and put a blocker shot on Sorokin.
So,
FYI, sorry, real quick. It is 11 Eastern, so 10 Central, that they will stop coverage. So 4 hours total. Back to you, Kurt.
Okay, that just blows my mind that they would.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, he skates in from the time he crosses the blue line. It's like 5+ seconds. And people are, there should be a shootout clock, 5 seconds. 5 seconds from when you touch the puck to when you have to shoot. And I'm like, the play from when he touched it at center was probably like maybe 7 or 8 seconds. I don't know. We're talking like 2 or 3 seconds here. People getting upset about. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I don't get the outrage over this. He didn't stop. He skated in super slow, but I mean, he didn't stop. He didn't cut back against the grain and bring the puck backwards. He didn't do any of that. So,
Bill,
right,
as a goalie, how do you feel about this?
I feel like it's Kuznetsov knowing Sorokin, right? Their fellow countrymen probably played against one another in the off season, and probably part of it's messing with his head.
Do you think Sorokin should have played this better? He stood at the top of the crease the whole time. He didn't come out at all.
I think he proves Kuznetsov's point with this, right? Because he was the first one to act, right? When Kuznetsov got close to the crease, he made the move, and Kuznetsov was able to make the quick move to the left. The only thing quick about this whole thing, and put it in.
Right, but I mean, Sorokin just stands right at the top of the crease the whole time. I mean, guys coming in, shouldn't you come out and then ease off to cut? I mean, to have that angle, so you've got an angle advantage on this situation a little bit anyway. Not way out, but I mean, you know what I mean?
It could have been all of Kuznetsov knew what Sorokin was going to do, that he wasn't going to challenge him past the top of the crease, and he took advantage of it. And Sorokin got to the point where he was impatient and made the wrong move.
He was also
made the first move, and it was the wrong move.
He was also staying in one spot the entire time, and it was just like, just there's something to be said for probably being somewhat to be able to. You feel like you're planted at one spot. I don't know. It seems weird to me that you're just going to stand there while he comes in for 5 seconds in one spot while he comes in. Weird to me.
I don't. As far as the goal goes, I don't know. I don't care, but it's also that I am on the bandwagon of just abolish the fucking shootout. Do whatever you can to get rid of it. There was some talk yesterday about overtime. I can't remember what it was that caused it, but there was the overtime discussion again of like, oh, what do we do? We need to, overtime is a joke now, 3-on-3. There's too much puck control, blah, blah, blah. Let's look into that and cause less shootouts, or even find a way to just get rid of shootouts. I'm fine. I know you guys don't agree. I'd be fine with 7, 8, 9 minute, 10 minute, whatever, 3-on-3. Get rid of the shootout, and then it ends in a tie. I don't care.
No ties. No. I will.
So if it came down to it, you would say I'd rather have a shootout than a tie.
Oh yeah. But do this. Give me. I've said this from the beginning, before they even had 3-on-3 overtime. I said do 4-on-4 for 10 minutes. That's what I said, and I said after 10 minutes, then go to 3-on-3. After the first whistle after 10 minutes, then you go to 3-on-3.
I think if you go 10-minute overtime, no matter what form it is, I think you get a goal. So, and if it doesn't, I think at that point, I'm probably okay with a shootout because it's going to be so fucking rare. But
that's what I'm saying. I back in the day when there were ties, I was like, I'd almost rather lose than get a tie, because you go to a game, you spend your money, you watch, and it's like, and nothing is determined. Both teams get a point. It's just nobody wins. And it's like, I mean, okay. I'd rather there be an outcome. I'd rather be angry and wanting revenge for next time if we lost, or I'd rather be, happy that we won. I want some emotion as opposed to, I mean, kissing your sister, right? No thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. This move, as far as it goes, though, I know that, and that was the argument, right? People might be wondering, if for those of you maybe not on social media, might be wondering why we're even talking about it. It's because I guess people are saying that this is not the spirit of the shootout. When they invented the shootout for the NHL, not invented, but implemented the shootout into the NHL, they basically did not have this in mind. It was we expect super exciting, fast-moving skating, great stick moves, not this slow motion shoot. So I get to a certain extent, I don't like it, but he's well within the goal. And I don't think, like you said, Kurt, I don't see a shot clock being that's stupid to me. We don't need a shot clock.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Not in the shootout, right? Maybe
shootout.
I saw some Twitter conversation about a shootout in the overtime period, or a shootout, shot clock in the overtime period, right? Because I think the post was Seattle had 2 series of 100-second possessions with no shots, and that's just coaches are really the problem with overtime, right? They've put way too much emphasis on total control of the puck, and you've got to find a way to incentivize shots. It's
total control of the puck, and it's also not allowing the other team to change either. Because if you got the puck, they're not as inclined to change.
Thomas, Kyrou, and Falk were out there for almost 2 minutes.
Well, a minute and a half. I think it was a minute 40, something like that. Yeah, it was a lot. So
it's all coaching strategy, and it's the exact opposite of what was intended.
Yeah, coaching has ruined the 3-on-3 overtime that was exciting for a while.
Well, and it's just funny to say that coaching has ruined. It's coaching figured out.
Oh yeah, sure.
Is really what it is.
Sure, and I don't know if 4-on-4 would fix it, or if some kind of a back across center rule like in the NBA. You can't go back across center once you have possession.
That's always been my solution. You add a half ice violation where if you take the puck and you cross back past the red line, once you cross it, you get a 2-minute penalty, and boom, it's a 4-on-3,
or it's just
a goal.
Change of possession. I don't know if I call it a penalty. Just turn it over. Whistle
and dump it back behind the other net.
I don't know. Figure it out.
That's not my job.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe start behind the net.
I think it should be a penalty. Make it impossible. Make it be if you do this, you are fucked. You are fucking yourself.
A minute penalty? Not 2 minutes. It's a 5-minute overtime.
2 minutes.
Yeah, maybe
2 minutes.
It's a 5-minute overtime. That's almost half the period.
I know.
So
don't fucking do it.
A minute's a lot of time. A minute's a lot of time when in 3-on-3.
Okay, so make it 2 minutes, and you are fucking really telling teams don't do it. Don't do it, because you were going to have to kill a penalty for 2 minutes in overtime.
What if it's an accidental, the puck scored it? It has to be carry back, right? Not like you lose possession.
I think if it's a situation where you cross the red line and you have the puck, if you try to slide it back to your goalie, let's say, and the goalie's like, fuck, I can't play this. Or you're the defenseman's back there, and he's like, fuck, I can't play it. It's like a high stick from a teammate. They just have to hover over the puck until the other team touches it.
I think there's a lot of intangibles with the crossing center that we haven't thought about, but I'd love to explore it. That'd be interesting.
Anything really make overtime more exciting. A shot clock's not anything I'm super interested in, but I'd be willing to explore it.
See, I don't hate the shootout. I think I'd much rather there be a longer overtime and the games and more games. And not many games go to shootouts, even though Blues have 2 already. But
how about a 3-man sack race on consecutive Sundays until a champion is crowned?
But I'm not against the shootout at all. I think it's exciting as a forward. I think it's fun. It's on the teams. They had 65 minutes to determine a winner. They couldn't do it. Then here's the shootout. That's your punishment. Can't determine a winner in 65 minutes. Then here's your punishment. Shootout.
What about goalie on goalie 1-on-1? I like the idea we had a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember that. I think, Bill, you missed that show. WWE style. Every 30 seconds, you add a player to the rink. What was that, Royal Rumble? Is that what that is?
Yeah. Is it the Royal Rumble? It might be.
I think so, where it's every minute a new guy comes out.
I don't know. I'm an adult. I don't watch wrestling.
Oh, burn. Burn to my brother.
We've covered that in depth, right? This show is not this isn't the intersection on the Venn diagram of wrestling and hockey.
We are the intersection of beer and hockey.
Beer and hockey, yes. Which is much more relatable, I'd say.
Yeah. Come on. There are plenty of wrestling and hockey fans.
Oh, I'm not saying there's not. I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying that
we are not them.
Yeah, and I like chocolate and I like steak. I don't necessarily want to have Hershey's syrup on top of my tenderloin either.
I tell you what.
This is
totally unrelated. This is totally unrelated. We went to Bass Pro over here at Sunset Hills for the first time on Saturday. They had these things. It wasn't beef jerky. They were called steak bites.
I've had them.
They're so fucking good.
Is it?
God,
it's not like in a bag, right? Like
it looks like a beef jerky bag, but
but they're steak bites.
They're not like thin.
Right.
They're like kind of like big. Like
nuggets. They're nuggets.
Yeah, and oh my God, they are so good.
Yeah, I used to get them often actually, until I got a meat slicer and I buy my own top round and make my own beef jerky now.
Matt Harris, Jim Ross voice. By God, that's Zach Sanford.
He killed him. He killed him.
I watched a lot of wrestling growing up. LMAO. Yeah, dude. I did too. I watched a lot of Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Undertaker. Oh yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, I've seen wrestling bits and pieces nowadays, and I'm like, I don't know. My personal opinion, it sucks now. It used to be so much more comic booky, cartoony as a kid. Now it's just like, I don't know.
I will say that I guess kind of in hindsight now, I had a friend turn me on to like the bet, like he had me watch. It was like 20 minutes, the best The Rock performances in WWE. And I have been in hindsight watching The Rock on WWE because I was way past my time. And I will say he was fucking amazing in WWE. Like his people's elbow thing he did was, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Like he was so theatrical and it made it so much fun.
Do you know what's great is that you'll see a lot now of wrestlers from when I was a kid, Jake the Snake Roberts, Hulk Hogan, Jimmy's Superfly Snuka, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, all those guys, Andre the Giant. There's tons of documentaries now coming out about these guys, and they have like podcasts and they have like little video shorts and stuff about, just cool, funny stories. And that's cool because that was my childhood. I like that. I'll sit and watch some of those.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Zac Efron movie about wrestling?
No.
Oh God, Iron Fist. Oh, what's it called?
Fist of Fury. Monkey Fist.
Incredible. No, it's not Monkey Fist. It's also not Monkey Bone.
There should be a movie called Monkey Fist.
Monkey Fist. That reminds me of a very great Simpsons episode.
Have you seen Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Jeff?
No, I have not.
Look up Hard Ticket to Hawaii. It might be on YouTube. No, I don't think it is, actually. Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Watch it. If you like B movies, you like so bad they're funny and like entertaining.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Check that out.
Okay, so all right, the movie I'm thinking of. Why is it not popping up here? Oh, there it is. Upcoming Iron Claw. It's called The Iron Claw.
Yeah.
With Zac Efron and the guy who played Lip.
Oh, the Von Erichs.
Yes.
The Von Erichs. Yes. Yeah, that was when I was a kid.
Good.
Yeah, Kevin and Carrie Von Erich. Yeah, and Carrie Von Erich had a wooden leg, a fake foot.
Matt Harris, the new Efron movie about the Von Erichs, looks incredible.
See, and again, that was when I was a kid.
Good.
Those wrestling was good.
Shit. My dad went to see Fritz Von Erich, the patriarch of the Von Erichs. He used to tell me about that.
Yeah.
And how even back then people had struggles with keeping reality separated, and said one night they went and a lady as he's coming down the aisle, a lady stuck him in the ass with a hat needle.
Oh,
and, yeah.
So those are big.
Ruined the night. Yes.
Big? Those things are. I mean, trust me, I know how big that is. No, I don't. Yeah, Ken Morris, who wants to watch WWE. This is a dark joke for
Wow.
Ken Morris here. Who wants to watch WWE when CNN is airing Real Wars? Good Lord.
Yeah. Oh, we talk about the war, Israel. We're talking about the war in the House right now with the votes and the Speaker of the House.
I'm guessing he's talking about Israel.
Okay. There's a couple fronts of wars that are going on there.
I think he's talking about the war that is real.
Yes. Right.
Terrible joke. Sorry. I'm a dad. I get a pass.
Yeah. Okay. Should I close the show?
I think we're done, guys.
I think so.
All right. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is in Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com. And get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Mike Burgoyne from Real Brokerage Realty. Visit Strike with Mike today for all of your home buying and selling needs. You can email him at mike@strikewithmike.com. And by Center Ice Breweries, St. Louis's tasty hockey-themed beer. Check out your local beer vendors for availability. That's Center Ice Brewery beer. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode number 2 of season 13 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Bill Day, Jeff Ponder, and I don't know where the fuck Austin Lynch is, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues. Buy some Pride tape.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at sports. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number 1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend.